Hi there, Fix That Car here with getting started on car servicing. There's just two sort of sets of tools that you need for servicing cars these days. There are the hand tools, which you can see in front of us at the moment, and there are some lifting tools you'll need to raise a car in the air to get underneath it. I'll just run through what these hand tools are and what you'll be using them for. This is a chain wrench. It's used for removing an oil filter. It is driven by a socket set, so you just sort of put your oil filter where my hand is, rotate, and hey presto, off comes your oil filter. That's for the canister type of oil filters. Other cars will have plastic housings, particular Vauxhalls, and you can use a very large socket just to fit over the nut shape at the end of the plastic housing. For drain plugs, there's a variety of different things. You may find that your drain plug has got a hex fitting in the centre, in which case you can use one of these. Socket driven, always make sure it's socket driven. Or you may have a star Torx type fitting in the drain plug. I've got a good set here. Always make sure you've got a good set that will fit snugly into drain plug. Drain plugs are easily nailed up, so make sure you have some nice tools there. Onto spark plugs. I've got a slim spark plug socket here, which is what most spark plugs are these days. You'll need to use this with an extension piece, and again with a socket driver. That simply goes down into the recess, rotate, and the spark plug will loosen off. To remove the spark plug, you need a pair of long nose pliers, and that's because the spark plug will be sitting down in its socket. You can just grab hold of it, pick it up and remove it. You can also use long nose pliers to carefully place the plug back in its socket. It's all too easy to damage a spark plug as you drop it back into the socket as you're putting a new spark plug in. Other tools, a torch, very useful. There'll be recesses and places that you're looking into within the engine bay that you won't be able to see very clearly into, no matter how good the light is. So have a torch. A socket set, I've shown you a smallish one here. I've got a larger and small one to provide me with a whole range of sockets. Importantly, when buying a socket set, make sure you buy one that has all of the intermediate sizes. They very often come with sort of 14, 17, 19. Here I've got every size, so it goes 14, 15, 16, 17, and it's those intermediate sizes that you'll end up needing. Similarly with spanners, you don't need that many spanners. I've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, two 13s, common size, 14, and importantly 15 and 18. These are sizes that appear more and more these days on cars. Screwdrivers, not too much needed here. I've got a Phillips and a posi drive, just for various bits and pieces, maybe an air filter housing, and a couple of slotties. I've also got a breaker bar here. This is to remove a road wheel nuts, or to loosen road wheel nuts with. Simply place the socket on the end, and you've got a huge amount of leverage to loosen those road wheel nuts. When placing the road wheels back on, you will need a torque wrench, so it's worth investing in a good quality torque wrench to make sure that they're tightened up to the correct torque. Never try and guess the torque of road wheel nuts. So always torque up with a torque wrench. There's some consumables here as well. I've got some copperies grease. This is for putting alloy wheels back on. Just a thin smearing of copperies grease to make sure that the corrosion doesn't set in and the alloy will adhere itself to the axle. I've got some thread lock seal. This is in case as part of your service you are replacing brake pads. The slide pin bolts that you take out need to be sealed back in place so they don't work loose. Other things here, rags. You'll need loads and loads of rags. And look after your skin. I've got some disposable gloves. I have a box of disposable gloves with me all the time, and I just keep on replacing gloves as they rip and wear, thus keeping my hands clean and keeping the oil off my hands. Final thing to show you on this table are the smaller star Torx fittings. These will be very useful as you work inside the car on trim. You will perhaps need to remove a glove box to get a a pollen filter, and these are the smaller sizes that will get you into that. On to what you'll need to raise the car with. An easy thing to use are a pair of axle ramps, which I've got here. You just drive the car up and it's safely raised in the air, which will give you enough room to get underneath. An alternative may be a jack. I like to use a good hefty jack. I've given up on the small lightweight things you can buy in small stores like Halfords. Buy yourself a good jack if you're buying a jack, and a pair of axle stands so that the car can be safely rested on the axle stands. That's all you need to get the car in the air. Finally, here I've got an old oil can. The side's been cut out of this, and I use this to collect oil from the engine. Simple and easy method of catching up oil as you drain it off, and something that you don't need to spend any money on. So, having looked at the raising equipment and the hand tools that you would need, you will be ready to go ahead and carry out a full service on virtually any car. Costs, full service, £50 to £70. An intermediate service, £30 to £50. Not a lot of money, just the money for the consumables. Once you've invested in the tools, you can save yourself a fortune, and also be sure that the work you're doing has been done carefully and up to standard. All too often garages tend to miss out things like pollen filters or fuel filters. You won't be doing that because it's your car and you'll want to look after it. There will be further videos on this channel shortly showing how to carry out a full service and how to carry out an intermediate service. Thank you for watching.